Schools and Native American Mascots by Danielle Flemister. So, to start off, some schools with Native American mascots include, of course, McEachern, we're called the Indians. We got Florida State University, which is represented as the Seminoles. Um, we got Central Michigan University, which is represented as the Chippewas, and we have Mississippi College, which is represented as the Choctaws. More than 2,000 mascots in the U.S. are represented as Native Americans or symbols associated with Native Americans, such as the tomahawks and bow and arrows and spears and, things of that nature. So, one example of a school with a Native American mascot or represented as a Native American tribe include Florida State University. They're represented as the Seminoles. And the reason why their school is represented as the Seminoles is because the school wanted to pay tribute to the Seminole tribe in Florida for being the only Native American tribe that was never ever conquered by the U.S. government. And this idea of honoring the tribe in this way was introduced by Bill Durham, who was an alum of the school. He graduated in 1977. So in this picture right here, we got a man who's dressed up as a Native American. Well, this man right here is dressed up as Chief Osceola, which is the most well-known leader of the Seminole tribe. So you know how when you go to a football game, you see the football team runs out onto the field and gets ready, get piped up for the game. Well, during their games, this student or a student, dresses up as Chief Osceola and rides a horse and carries a spear. And he runs out onto the field on this horse, and the team follows. And yeah. So, why do some schools do this? Well, most say they do this to pay homage to Native Americans and to have their team be represented as brave and to show fight and courage, because a lot of people admire the Native Americans for being so brave and having fight and having courage after all they've been through. And some do it to honor the tribes that either resided there or still reside there in that region where the school is. However, 10% of the indigenous population oppose this form of admiration. But we're going to get into that on the next slide. Because how do Native Americans feel about this? Well, like I just said, 10% of the Native American population oppose being a mascot or having their culture or tribe be a mascot for a school, because most do not like their culture being used as a costume, which which is understandable. Some say it's culturally abusive and causes non-Native Americans to believe inaccurate stereotypes about their culture. Research has proven that Native Americans believe that the use of their culture as mascots promotes racist stereotypes and can harm the self-esteem of youth Native Americans. The use of the mascot also dehumanizes Native Americans, because a mascot, like for most schools, are usually represented by an animal or something. Like, you have the tigers and the bears and the eagles, but you're using a culture, um, people, a tribe as a mascot. Because, like, when you think about it, say there was a school, which there was a school, whose mascot was a cotton picker, or they were called the cotton pickers. That would make the normal person be like, whoa, why is this school represented as cotton pickers? Like, they could say, oh, we're calling it cotton pickers because, back then they went through a lot of things, and, just to honor. No, it's offensive and it's weird. even when I'm out on the field cheering, it can feel a little odd when I look across the field and I see a 20 feet Indian mascot standing over the student section. So it makes sense why most would disagree with this. Even wearing McEachern merch that has Indian in bold or Go Indians on it just seems a little odd to me. But yeah, that's just me though. So, why is this problematic? Well, I kind of touched on this in the last slide, but like I said, 10% of the Native American population find it offensive. The National Congress of Native Americans, um, the National Congress of American Indians opposed the use of Native Americans as mascots. However, some part of this National Congress of American Indians do not believe Native Americans being represented as mascots is racist or offensive because they feel like there's other things you can worry about. And some people do feel honored and recognized when a school uses their culture or somebody that looks like them as a mascot, like they feel seen. The APA believes the use of Native American mascots causes stereotyping and inaccurate racial portrayals of Native Americans, which is also very true. Just look at our mascot as an example. So, yeah, these are my sources.